Alright, so it is wet and it is rainy. So I'm going to be today investigating these Harfang rain wheels. And these wheels have CNC cut these unique rain grooves in them. So most rain wheels just have a set of parallel lines, but these are able to have these kind of exit channels in them, which is a little bit more special. And they also have a number of other patterns as well, not just this specific one. And so I've got that board, and I've got a second board, unique board, or same board, same truck, same setup, except this has got ABEC 11 free ride wheels on it. And so we're going to compare a little bit how much the rain wheels help. And I'm going to be testing it here on the concrete, and then up the road a little bit I'll be testing it on asphalt and see if there's any difference. And well, we'll just see what I think. Alright, so I've changed locations a bit. I found that the mold release on the Harfang wheels was giving me problems. So I came up to the steepest hill in the neighborhood to try to do a lot longer slides to break that mold release off, to see what its broken in feel was going to be like. So let's just session this hill a bit and see what we think. Alright, so I'm back after having ridden for a couple hours out in the rain. It's 40 degrees outside right now, and I'm wearing enough layers to stay warm even when wet. So I've got lots of clothes on that's soaked, it's all really heavy. It's pretty exhausting, turns out. But as far as the wheels, neither wheel performed well enough for me to be comfortable carving. That's really what I wanted to be able to test and, carve and see if I could, trust a wheel to stay gripped and not just to slide out from under me. The one thing, what I'm really looking for is for predictable behavior, and even if they slide loose, I want them to maintain enough grip to keep me upright on the board and not to just, to shoot out from under me and just cause me to plant the back of my head on the asphalt. Neither of them did that, so that's why I kind of went towards the sliding on the hill, on the steep part of the hill, because I wasn't able to carve on my carve hill. So what I found was that these freeride wheels were maintaining, they would break loose easier by a little bit, and when they did break loose, they basically, they basically lost almost all their grip. But they still did maintain a little bit of friction with the road I could feel. The Harfang wheels, they had it took more force for them to break loose, but once they were gone, they were so gone. So completely gone. Harfang wheels, I was expecting contact with the road and maintaining some level of grip, and the differences between these two were marginal, nothing to write home about, not even worth the effort of changing wheels. And why is that? So my first theory is that the mold release needs to come off for me to get the full potential off these wheels. I did slide them quite a lot, but with the rain and the wet, the sliding wasn't really doing much to take that off. But I think the main reason is that these wheels are very wide and these wheels are very narrow. So even with the grooves taking out some contact area, these wheels have an 8mm wider contact patch than these wheels. And 8mm is quite a lot in terms of contact patch size. These are very narrow wheels. So this was just not a good comparison from the start. So what the smaller contact patch means is that there's more pounds per square inch of contact on this wheel, which means there's more force able to push the water aside. So basically what happened with the Harfang wheels and why they didn't work is because there was not enough pressure to push the water off from the flat of the wheels into the channel. That was what was happening. That's why it wasn't working. So something else might be worth looking at is what the ideal contact patch width is going to be for a rain wheel. Because supposedly there's going to be a sweet spot. I have tried in another video scooter wheels, and because the scooter wheel has a very small contact patch. It's about half. Yeah, it's about half what this wheel has, and that didn't turn out too well either. So the scooter wheel is too small of a contact patch, and I feel like this contact patch is just a little bit too big. The other thing worth mentioning is just this whole rain wheel thing is really tricky. Even if you have contact with the ground, you're still dealing with water, at some level between the wheels and the pavement. So even if you're not hydroplaning, which is something that can definitely happen with flat wheels without grooves, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're biting into the concrete and getting any sort of real grip to speak of. It just means that the board's going to stop eventually if you've got your weight on it. So yeah, it's just tricky. Like it might. I mean, I don't want to come off as too critical, or sound like they're not doing anything. What I would like is just not as realistic as I'm making it sound. So anyway, I'm going to continue up with some more follow-up videos. So far, I'm not blown away by the Harfang. It's not like it's magically it's not like it magically makes it like there's no water. And so far, it looks like just this narrower wheel might have a similar benefit as the Harfang. All right, so slight interjection here. I'm editing right now. I would like to add that they're similar at the speeds I was riding for what I was trying to do. If you look at the earlier footage where I put in the stills, and you have the water that's in front of the ABEC 11 wheel, and there's not water in front of the Harfang wheel, what that means is if I was to be riding faster and faster and faster, eventually the ABEC 11 wheel wouldn't be able to push the water out away from in front of it like it's able to do, and it would be going under the wheel. The water would force itself under the wheel, and that is where you begin to have hydroplaning problems. So in terms of just maintaining grip with the road and being maneuverable at low speeds, yes. But in terms of riding at speed and keeping away hydroplaning, the grooves are beneficial regardless of the contact patch. Another comparison I'd want to do at some point is looking at shark wheels versus the Harfang wheels. So the shark wheel, just forget about the whole S thing going on. The shark wheel has some pretty unique things going for it just as a grooved wheel. You can see while the Harfang wheels has these nice square lips and these square cuts, the shark wheel has everything's rounded. So you've got a rounded wheel with rounded tops and rounded channels, and it also has a smaller contact patch. And in my experience, the shark wheels can make a pretty decent cheap rain wheel. So I'd like to put these two head to head and see how they do. So unfortunately, I don't really have much in terms of concrete conclusions for this video. Mostly I've just identified a bunch of flaws with my own experiment. But I'm going to continue doing testing, and if you want to continue to learn more about rain wheels and see if I can find a way to make these Harfang wheels shine, well, stay tuned. Longboard Technology, over and out.